I want to build off of Bean Brianna's post, BEN_Brianna. And she she made me realize something as I was listening to her, because I was like, well, wait a minute. Why didn't I think of it like this also? Okay. But it makes sense. I've already basically given my theory, my opinion of what actually happened. And that theory is that Blake definitely had a plan from the start, that she wanted to take this over. And in doing so, she targeted producers. And on day 2, that's when she made the first complaint about Jamie Heath and Justin Baldoni, immediately giving her the opportunity to attach an EEOC claim. So she immediately found a way to attach protected activity. But you see in the footnotes, that's where it seems like she's constantly, consistently trying to target protected activity type of circumstances and situations. Because in the footnotes, it's like, oh, and I didn't even have access to breastfeed or pump during production. And yet we see photos where she's out in public, she's in Disneyland, and she's actively pumping while taking photos with the Disneyland characters. Make it make sense. Like, and so what Bean Brianna was saying is, I have to interrupt the theory that I'm going on. Bean Brianna was saying that she mostly believes Blake when Blake says that she felt humiliated in the birthing scene. And what she's saying is, it's not because of the actions or behaviors of the people around her, but rather because of her own insecurities, her own feeling about the state of her body and her relation to it, after having her child. Because in the rest of the movie, she's so covered up and she's wearing such big baggy clothing. And she believes that in the birthing scene, it had everything to do with her own body image and perception of her body, and not the actions of other people. And so my theory, how that fits into the theory of targeting the producers, etc., is that she fired or removed or took over the jobs of anybody and everybody else that she had a problem with. She took over wardrobe. She basically got first and second AD fired. She took over all of these other positions. She didn't do that to Justin Baldoni and Jamie Heath, and that's why I think this is a part of the bigger plan to target the producers, to remove them, and somehow get herself, because I question the language of the contract. I wish we had access to the contract, because my thoughts are it most likely says that the producers have rights to the sequel, and maybe doesn't say specifically Justin Baldoni and Jamie Heath, though I could be totally wrong. However, based off of her behaviors, that's why it makes me question if that's why she was vying so hard to change the producers' positions, because she had like 5 different producers come in. She wanted Alex Sachs on set. She had everybody coming in and out, and none of that satisfied her. And for whatever reason, because it makes even less sense that she was this upset about Justin Baldoni and Jamie Heath and didn't have them removed. Because the biggest thing that was in her corner are the unions. She could have, and any one of these people that she has claimed has mountains of evidence in regards to what she claims happened to her by Justin Baldoni and Jamie Heath, any one of those people, including herself, including her husband, could have contacted the union. And the union could have come in, immediately started an investigation, even within a couple of hours of a report, if that report had been egregious enough, or if enough people had contacted, reached out, and let them know, hey, there's a situation. They could have even done it anonymously. They didn't even have to let them know who they were. So the biggest tool that all of them had at their fingertips, was the union. was the unions, not just one, multiple. And they never did that. And the unions could have not only removed Justin Baldoni and Jamie Heath from the set, but they could have taken over. And for whatever reason, that was never engaged. It was never pursued. They could have immediately started an investigation, but Blake didn't even document things contemporaneously. So everything that she talks about and everybody who was involved in the depositions, everything sounds like in retrospect, after the fact. And when Brianna was talking about how she believes that Blake felt humiliated, I think the reason why we're looking at the case the way that we are, and it's unfolding the way that we are, is because Blake is having to look back at moments and trying to figure out what sounds plausible as sexual harassment. And for her, she can identify times that she was embarrassed, but it doesn't mean that other people actually engaged in sexual harassment of her. But they are moments that she most likely did feel embarrassed, did feel humiliated, and she's trying to wrap the narrative around those moments in a way that it sounds plausible. But each and every time she points to something, there's evidence. There's evidence that disputes, that completely crumbles her claims. And so that, to me, I already had my theory that she was targeting Justin Baldoni and Jamie Heath to have them removed and to get the PGA mark so that she could be credited as the producer. And in that way, if the contract language says that the producers have the rights, she could then assert herself as the producer and that way get the rights to the sequel. I don't know. I don't know if that's factually what happened, but it's just a theory that I'm thinking. But I think that Brianna is at least reading this appropriately, and that the retrospective attempt to wrap a narrative around these events as sexual harassment, I think she's on the right track for figuring out why these claims are coming out the way that they are. It's just, that to me makes more sense. Do you agree?